Time hums inside you. You may not always hear it, but it's there nestled in the soft spaces between your breaths, in the hush between one heartbeat and the next. It moves gently, steadily, like a river beneath ice. You lie still, quiet now, your body sinking into the softness beneath you. The world outside is wrapped in dusk. Even the trees, even the stars seem to slow, and in this quiet, you become aware of something so often forgotten, that time is not just something you measure, it's something you feel. There is a beat to it, not just clocks ticking, but the thump of blood in your ears, the slow dance of the moon across the sky, the way shadows shift and stretch. Time is everywhere, but what is it, really? Let's begin close to home. Your body keeps time with astonishing grace. Inside you, tiny oscillators tick away clusters of molecules in your brain, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, like a conductor keeping rhythm for a vast orchestra. This conductor listens to the sun, watching the light come and go through your eyes, resetting your rhythm each morning as light spills onto your face. And so you wake, you move, you eat, you rest. Your body trusts the rhythm, the gentle swing between day and night. It trusts that time flows forward at the same pace, always. But that's only part of the story, because time as we know it is not a single thread. It can stretch, it can slow, it can fold itself into strange, unfamiliar shapes. Imagine you are on a train, a quiet one, gliding through the night. You sit by the window, watching stars blur into streaks of white. Another person, far ahead in the same train, sees the same stars, same train, same speed, and yet something odd begins to happen. If the train goes fast enough near the speed of light, the clocks at the front and back begin to disagree. Time itself, on this moving train, becomes flexible. This is not science fiction. It is the quiet truth whispered by physics, by Einstein's theory of relativity. Time, once thought so steady and absolute, is actually woven into space, and space, like time, is soft. It bends, it stretches, it curves around mass and motion, responding to the pull of gravity like silk caught in wind. Here's a thought. You climb a mountain, high into the sky. The air is thin and crisp, and your heart beats a little faster. You set two identical clocks, one with you, and one left at the base below. You wait and wait and wait, then you return. The two clocks no longer match. Your clock, the one higher up, has ticked just a little faster. Time passed more quickly for you, not enough to feel, but enough to measure. Just by changing your position in gravity, you changed your relationship with time. It's called gravitational time, dilation, and it means that even your height, even the elevation of your pillow, makes a difference in how fast time flows for you versus your toes. Strange, isn't it? We walk around thinking of time as a single drumbeat we all follow, but it's more like a great ocean, sometimes calm, sometimes crashing with currents that shift subtly depending on where you are, how fast you move, and how much gravity clings to your skin. And when you move faster, much faster, time begins to slow for you. A person racing through space would age more slowly than someone still on Earth. This isn't just theory, it's been measured in astronauts. It's written in the aging of cosmic rays. Even your GPS, the one in your phone, must account for these strange shifts to tell you where you are. We are travelers in a world where time is not absolute, but alive, sensitive, responsive to mass, motion, and mystery. Think of time like taffy. You can stretch it, press your thumb into it, pull it thinner and thinner, but it never quite breaks. It holds together, even as it changes shape. So when you lie here, feeling time like a gentle tide, know this: that tide flows differently at the edge of a black hole. It flows differently inside a dream. It flows differently for particles moving near light. There is no universal clock ticking for everyone in perfect synchrony. Even memory plays tricks with time. You felt it, how some days rush by like birds in flight, and others stretch long and slow, like shadows at sunset. This is time as we live it. Time as a sensation, as a dance, as something deeply personal, and still it moves forward, or does it? That too is a question worth asking. Does time truly move forward, or do we simply perceive it that way because entropy, the tendency toward disorder, makes it seem so? A broken glass does not unbreak, a wave does not roll back into the sea. We feel the arrow of time because we see the trail it leaves behind, but is the future already written, or is it waiting to be discovered? Is time a path we walk, or a landscape already shaped? These are questions we'll wander into, slowly, gently, but not tonight. Tonight, you rest in the quiet cradle of time's current form. The rhythm you feel, your breath, your pulse, your thoughts are all riding the soft, invisible tide of time as it behaves here, on this gentle patch of earth. But soon we'll leave this place. We'll follow time to stranger lands where clocks melt, where gravity halts the tick of seconds, where moments stretch into eternity at the edge of black holes. But for now, rest in the knowing that time is not what it seems. It is more than a ticking clock, more than sunrise and sunset, more than memory and plan. It is the quiet, pliable thread that connects everything, and as you close your eyes, just before sleep takes you, ask yourself softly, what happens to time when gravity becomes too strong to escape? Imagine time as a gentle river, sometimes swift, sometimes slow, near the speed of light. This river no longer flows evenly. You'll drift into the strange idea that motion can stretch moments, like pulling taffy across the stars. Full chapter body, word count 1,200 words. You are floating, not on water, not through air, but upon something quieter, more hidden. You cannot see the river, but you feel it. Time moves beneath you, beneath all things, soft and endless, a stream that carries every moment from one to the next. In ordinary days, this river feels steady. A second ticks like a heartbeat. A minute sighs by like wind through trees. But time, as still as it may seem, is never fixed. And tonight we begin to notice, truly notice how it flows. Picture yourself in a small boat. The sky is velvet dark, the stars gentle lanterns above, the river beneath you. The river of time moves without ripples. It's smooth, unhurried, constant. You feel safe in its current. Now, imagine you begin to row. At first slowly, the river seems unchanged. But as you paddle faster and faster, something strange begins to happen. Not to the river, but to you. Your oar dips into the current, and suddenly, the stars above appear to smear into arcs of light. The breeze feels sharper, and the boat, your boat, seems to stretch, as if the wood itself is reluctant to follow. You're approaching something new, not a destination, but a threshold. The speed you are moving through the river is changing the way you feel time. This isn't fantasy, this is time dilation, a quiet truth whispered by the universe. Here's the idea: the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. It sounds impossible, like a dream half remembered, but it's been proven again and again, by clocks, by light, by stars themselves. Einstein first suggested it not in poetry, but in equations. Yet the meaning is deeply poetic all the same. Let's return to the river. You are now moving near the speed of light, not walking or sailing, but streaking through the cosmos, faster than anything ever has in your waking world. Your boat stretches longer. The stars grow bluer ahead, redder behind. But the strangest part, time for you inside this speeding vessel, begins to slow. Outside, the universe ages. Clocks tick faster on Earth. People grow older, but inside your vessel, your heart beats slower. Your thoughts unfold more gently. You, the traveler, are becoming unstuck in time. This isn't a trick of imagination. Astronauts who orbit the Earth, moving quickly through space, experience time just a little differently than those standing still. Only milliseconds, yes, but real, measured. A sliver of proof that time is not absolute. It bends, it flexes, it listens to how we move. Now imagine this stretched to an extreme. Suppose you could ride a beam of light. Suppose you could accelerate your boat to 999%, the speed of light. A year might pass for you inside that boat. But outside, decades, centuries, a civilization might rise and fall, while you simply blink and breathe and dream. It's as if your motion pulls time like warm taffy. The faster you move, the longer the stretch, not forward or back but slower, elongated, a syrupy drift through seconds that no longer match the world you left behind. This is not a distortion, this is nature, this is reality as it truly is hidden behind the curtain of our everyday speed. It's not something you need to feel in your body, it's in the mathematics of the universe, the rhythm of light, the ticking of particles, the unspoken rules of relativity. And if you turn your head just gently, you'll see that even light, that fast and faithful traveler, holds secrets too. No object with mass can reach light speed. But as you approach it, everything changes, your mass increases, your energy grows and time continues to slow. So now you are here on the edge of understanding, rowing through an invisible current that doesn't just carry you forward, it carries your experience of forwardness. Time is not a metronome ticking the same beat for all. It is more like music, changing tempo, depending on how fast you move, what gravity holds you, what path you follow. And in this music, motion rewrites memory. A twin who travels far and fast may return younger than the one who stayed. This is not science fiction, this is twin paradox, and it has been tested with atomic clocks on airplanes. One high above, one down below. Each clock ticks a slightly different rhythm depending on its journey. The river bends for some, it narrows, it deepens, it speeds up or slows down, and we small travelers with big dreams begin to glimpse how motion can sculpt time into strange and beautiful shapes. Now you rest your oars, you drift again. The stars return to their steady shimmer, the air softens, the stretch of time around you slowly releases, you are still but changed. The river carries on, and as you look ahead, you wonder if motion bends time. What about gravity? Does the weight of stars pull at the river too? Do massive things hold time in their arms and make it linger? Perhaps, the next bend in the river will show you. Last lines transition to next chapter, you are still but changed. The river carries on, and as you look ahead, you wonder if motion bends time. What about gravity? Do massive things hold time in their arms and make it linger? Perhaps, the next bend in the river will show you. You sit beside a young man on a gently swaying tram. The streets outside blur in the warm, dusky light, each lamp flickering past like a breath of time. Cobblestones hum beneath the wheels. The air is still, quiet. He gazes out the window with wide, wondering eyes, and though the tram moves slowly, something in his mind races forward. He imagines a beam of light. What if he chased it? Not the way a child runs after a kite, but in the deepest way thought can travel. What if he, seated here, accelerated until he nearly touched that beam, rode alongside, felt the wind of photons brushing past like stardust? Would time look the same? Would the world? You breathe with him. He is young, thoughtful, a patent clerk by day, and a dreamer always. No telescope, no laboratory, just questions and the courage to follow them. In his mind, clocks tick, wheels spin, shadows stretch across geometry, but none of it moves quite as expected when you chase the light. Imagine now that you are floating. The tram has vanished. There is no city, no noise, no ground, only you, a silent companion, drifting beside this man's thoughts in a space where imagination sculpts reality. The light it travels always at the same speed. Always, no matter how fast you go. That's what puzzles him. He accelerates in his mind, faster and faster, but the beam always glides ahead, never slowing, never pulling back. It's as if the rules he's known all his life are melting. Then a thought blooms. If the light doesn't change speed, then something else must change. Time. Yes, maybe time itself stretches and compresses, like soft fabric pulled across space. Maybe motion isn't just about where you are, but when you are. Maybe the faster you move, the more time must bend to keep the light steady. A second might not be a second anymore. He blinks. On the tram, the lamps continue to pass. You look again through his eyes, and suddenly, the world isn't fixed. It's elastic. The sidewalk isn't just length and width, but also depth and time. You're not just moving through space. Space is moving with you, reshaping, accommodating, whispering back in a voice made of light. This is the first thread of what will one day be called relativity. But he doesn't call it that, not yet. Right now, it's just a feeling, the sense that something deep and unseen is humming beneath the world, and that chasing a beam of light is not madness, but a kind of quiet revelation. He imagines standing on a clock tower. He imagines two lightning strikes, one at the front of a moving train, one at the back. He imagines watching them from the ground, then from the train, and realizes, with a shiver of clarity, that now is not the same everywhere. That simultaneity, things happening at the same time, depends on where you are. It's a strange and gentle rupture, like learning the moon doesn't shine, it reflects. Like realizing the ocean doesn't end where your eyes do. This isn't science born of equations, not yet. It's science as meditation, as walking barefoot across the fabric of the cosmos, feeling its texture change beneath your steps. You feel the softness of time's elasticity, the curvature of space, the stillness that exists even in motion. He writes late into the night, no grand laboratory, just papers, pens, and the quiet ticking of clocks. He begins to realize that mass and energy are not separate, that they're braided together, that what seems still might be vibrating with unseen movement, that speed and time are dance partners, never truly apart. The world, for him, has begun to stretch open. You float with him in this unfolding. You watch as one thought gives birth to 10, and 10 to a universe. This is not a man chasing light. This is a man learning that light does not need to be caught, only understood. That chasing it is really chasing truth. And in truth, the world reshapes. You feel it in your breath, slow, aware, suspended. You feel how science is not always equations, but questions asked in the right light, at the right time, by the right wondering heart. He is no longer alone on that tram. You're here now too. You, the listener, the companion to curiosity. Outside the window, the night deepens. The beam of light continues forward, unchanged, untouchable, and yet it has changed everything. It has become a mirror, a riddle, a guide. And as you rest your head against the window pane, you begin to wonder, if time can bend, what else can? You stand still in the vastness of space. It is quiet here, not empty, but still. The stars do not blink. The silence does not echo. And across that silence, a beam of light cuts through the dark, smooth as a river, fast as thought. No matter what you do, no matter how quickly you run, how hard you push, light always slips away, just out of reach. You could board a rocket, fire every engine, pour every ounce of energy into motion. Still, the beam stays ahead. It never pulls away faster, but it never lets you close the gap either. It moves at one speed, only always the same. A stubborn cosmic rule. This is where the story of time begins. Not in ticking clocks or falling sand, but in the endless, unwavering race between light and motion. You're not the only one chasing it. The universe itself, with all its stars and spin and speed, obeys the same strange law. Light is always constant, and everything else must adjust. Imagine for a moment that you are flying, not in a machine, but with thought alone. You're soaring through the blackness beside a comet. The comet flings ice and dust in its wake, but you are faster. You chase the light shining from a distant galaxy. But no matter how swiftly you soar, light races ahead with perfect, untouchable speed. You begin to wonder, if light refuses to change its pace, then maybe something else must give way. And it does. Time, once thought to be firm and universal, ticks differently now. Not everywhere at once, not for all people in the same way. Instead, time flows like a river, winding and widening, slowing near massive things, bending for speed, flowing faster for some and slower for others. You are in a spaceship now. You press forward, nearing the speed of light. Outside your window, the stars warp, squeezed forward into a narrow cone of brilliance. You check your clock. Only minutes have passed for you, but back on Earth the clocks ticked onward without you. Hours, maybe days, slipping by for those left behind. This is time dilation. The faster you go, the slower time flows for you. Not because your watch breaks, not because of some trick, but because speed itself reshapes time, and the faster you move, the more time stretches behind you, like a soft, unraveling ribbon. Why? Because light must remain constant. And for that to happen, for nature's law to hold true, time must bend. It must twist and yield, giving space to motion, letting speed steal moments that can never be reclaimed. Time and space no longer exist apart. They are space-time, a single woven fabric, warped by motion, mass, and the stubborn, perfect speed of light. You drift now in the thought of it all. One law, one simple rule, that light will never slow, never hurry. And yet that one law rewrites everything. It bends the path of stars. It shifts the rhythm of aging. It defines the edge of black holes, and it means that no two people, in motion or rest, may feel the same moment, the same way. Imagine twins. One stays on Earth. One travels near the speed of light. They wave goodbye, their arms raised in perfect symmetry. But when the traveler returns, the twin on Earth is older, maybe grayer, slower in step. The traveler has barely changed. Time was thinner on their path. This is not science fiction. This is the truth whispered into every photon, encoded into the stars themselves. And it's not just speed that warps time. Mass does too. A heavy planet, a dense star, these also bend the fabric. The closer you are to something massive, the slower your time flows. Even you, standing still on Earth, age differently at your head than at your feet. Tiny differences too small to feel, but real and always present. Why does the universe obey such strange laws? Because if light did not stay constant, the world would fracture. Causality, the order of before and after, would break. Events would shift out of sequence. And so, the cosmos adjusts everything else, time, space, shape and flow, to keep the light in place, a fixed point in a shifting sea. It's humbling to know that motion is never absolute, that your speed is always relative to something, to someone, that time itself is not a thread we all share equally, but a rhythm shaped by your journey through space. And so you listen again. The stars are still quiet, the light still slips ahead. But now you know, it is not running from you. It is guiding you, inviting you to understand that reality is not as solid as it seemed. You breathe slowly. The truth settles over you like a soft blanket. The universe does not tick like a clock. It pulses like a wave, and your place within it depends not just on where you are, but how fast you move, and how deep the gravity around you pulls. You lie back into this gentle strangeness. Let it hold you, let it reshape your sense of what's fixed, what's flowing. And as you drift into thought, a question emerges softly. If time stretches and folds, what happens when gravity deepens, so deep that even light itself cannot escape? You are floating, weightless, surrounded by silence. Above you, stars glimmer like scattered snowflakes in a still, black sky. You're not on Earth anymore. You're aboard a quiet vessel, drifting through the cosmos. In your hand, a simple wristwatch ticks its face round, its hands steady. Now imagine this. You begin to move, slowly at first, then faster. The stars begin to blur slightly at the edges, and your ship hums softly with growing speed. Your watch ticks on, seemingly unchanged. But back on Earth, something curious begins to unfold. Time, that invisible thread we rarely notice, begins to stretch. Not stretch in the way a rubber band does, snapping back. This is gentler. It's like music slowing just slightly, or a dream extending its final scene as you awaken. Your seconds are still seconds to you. You don't feel them stretch. But to someone watching from Earth, your seconds are beginning to lengthen. Your clock is ticking slower, not from damage or delay, but because you are moving faster. This is time dilation. It sounds like magic, but it is science. Not just any science, the science of Einstein. In his theory of special relativity, Albert Einstein discovered something truly astonishing. The faster you travel through space, the slower you move through time. Let's explore gently. Imagine you are standing on a quiet street at night, watching a train pass. On that train is your twin. They wave from the window, their face lit softly by the warm glow of a reading lamp. The train moves quickly, not at the speed of light, but fast enough. Inside, your twin has a clock. So do you. Both clocks are identical, ticking in perfect harmony. But something odd happens as the train speeds up. From your perspective standing still, your twin's clock begins to lag just a little. The seconds take longer to pass. 1, pause, 2, pause, 3. But inside the train, your twin sees nothing strange. Their seconds feel normal. They smile, reading their book, unaware that the flow of time outside their window has begun to drift apart from theirs. It's not a trick, it's not perception, it's the nature of time itself. Why does this happen? Let's slow it down with a metaphor. Think of time as a great river. You, standing still on earth, are wading gently in place. The current brushes past your legs at a steady pace. But now, imagine stepping into a fast-moving boat. As you speed forward, the water brushing against you begins to feel slower. The current changes. The river hasn't stopped, but your movement through it shifts the experience. Time is that river. Speed is your boat, and the faster your boat moves, the stranger the current begins to feel. But here's the curious part. This isn't just a thought experiment. We've measured it. Satellites orbiting Earth carry precise atomic clocks. Because they are moving faster than us on the surface, their clocks tick ever so slightly slower. To us, the difference is tiny billionths of a second, but real, measurable, proven. This slowing becomes profound only as we approach the ultimate cosmic speed limit, the speed of light. At light speed, time for the traveler would stand still. Imagine, then, a beam of light stretching from a star to your eyes. That light has been traveling for years, decades, sometimes even millennia. But to the photon, that tiny particle of light, the journey is instantaneous. No time at all has passed in its frame. It is timeless. Back in your ship, you increase your speed. Earth recedes behind you like a soft blue marble, shrinking into the velvet distance. You look at your watch, it ticks, calm and normal. But your friends on Earth, watching you on their screens, see something different. Your movements slow slightly. Your expressions take longer to form. A yawn stretches just a bit longer than it should. Their seconds are moving faster than yours. If you were to turn around now and return if decades passed on Earth, while only a few years passed for you, you would find yourself younger than your friends, your siblings, even your twin. It's not science fiction. It's the logic of speed and time entwined, and it leads us gently to a reflection. Time is not fixed. It is not the same for everyone, everywhere. It bends and stretches with speed. It is elastic, not like rubber, but like a slow wave, adapting to motion's rhythm. There is something deeply poetic in that. It means your journey, wherever it takes you, has a personal rhythm. Your seconds are yours. They may not match someone else's. They may be longer, or shorter, or curved in strange and beautiful ways. When you rest, time leans closer. When you race, it lingers behind. You carry time with you, like a companion, that adjusts its pace based on your path. And so you sit once more in your quiet ship, eyes closing slowly as the stars drift past. The ticking of your watch is soft, familiar, but now, you know its steady rhythm is not a universal truth. It is yours alone. In that realization, there is wonder. Because time is not merely what the clock tells you, it is a shape, a flow, a dimension you carry, invisible and responsive. And it is only just beginning to reveal its secrets. As you drift gently, thoughts turning inward, one question flickers like a distant star on the edge of your awareness. If speed stretches time, what does gravity do? You are standing on a quiet hill, where the grass folds like velvet under your feet. The wind carries the scent of old soil, and far above the stars hang like notes in a forgotten lullaby. You are not alone. Beside you stands someone with your face, your twin. You share the same birth, the same laugh, the same memory of soft light filtering through your childhood window. But tonight, only one of you will stay, and the other will leave. You hold hands for a moment longer, then part. One of you climbs into the sleek cocoon of a spacecraft, light pulsing around its frame like a heartbeat. The engines hum. The countdown begins. The sky begins to shimmer, and then lift off. As your twin disappears into the blue, time already begins to shift. Down here, the minutes are steady. They tick like soft footsteps down a long hallway. You water the plants. You watch the seasons breathe in and out. You grow older slowly, as people do, not noticing it day to day. Wrinkles gather at the corners of your eyes like soft secrets. But up there in the vacuum beyond clouds, time begins to fold. This is the mystery Einstein offered us, that time is not a single drumbeat for all. It bends, it flexes, it dances with speed. As your twin travels near the speed of light, something strange begins to happen. The faster they move, the slower their clock ticks, not to them, but to you, to you. Their heartbeat seems to stretch. Their seconds lengthen like echoes in a vast cathedral. In your letters they say, only a few months have passed, but your hands tell a different story. They carry more winters than theirs. This is the paradox of time dilation. Imagine light as your guide, always traveling at the same speed, no matter what, a universal rule that never wavers. But for that to be true, time must adjust. It cannot hold firm. So if your twin is moving swiftly through space, chasing comets, circling stars, then their time must slow down in your eyes. It's not just a trick of clocks. It's woven into the threads of reality. You sit beside a fireplace, grey now lining your temples, while your twin drifts weightless in orbit, barely changed. And though you are apart, you both look at the same sky, one from above, the other from below. It is a strange kind of love, one stretched by the cosmos, a love that waits, that understands that time may carry you differently, but memory always brings you home. You remember the day you were born, how your mother smiled, holding two identical lives in her arms. You remember your first bike ride, the way your twin's laughter chased yours down the street. And you remember that moment, years ago now, when you stood on that hilltop and said goodbye. Out in the darkness, your twin experiences time as quicksilver, fleeting, barely there. Perhaps they glance at a photo of you taped beside the control panel. Perhaps they whisper your name into the silence. But down here on Earth, the days stretch long and golden. You feel every sunrise as a slow unfurling. Every birthday is another ripple in the pond of your life. Sometimes you wonder if they can feel your aging, if they sense your years like starlight, always arriving late, but never lost. Eventually the mission ends, the spacecraft returns, gliding like a silver bird across the horizon. You are there to meet it, older, softer, your face weathered like the bark of an ancient tree. The door opens, and your twin steps out. They look the same, almost. Their eyes are still young, still bright with wonder. But there's something else too. A quietness, a recognition that the world has moved on without them. You reach for each other. The embrace is long, wordless. In that moment you feel the weight of time's asymmetry. You lived decades, they lived years, but in the space between your two heartbeats, everything returns. You are two again, standing on that childhood hill, reunited by the gravity of love. The scientists call it the twin paradox, not because it's a contradiction, but because it surprises. It asks us to let go of the idea that time is rigid. It invites us to see time as a living thing, slow for some, fast for others, shaped by motion and perspective. And so you sit together under the stars, the two of you, one carrying the long thread of time, the other carrying the spark of the journey. You share stories, you laugh, you cry. You begin again. What you've learned together is that time is not a ruler, it is not a law. It is a river that bends around gravity and speed. And even when it moves differently for each of you, it never breaks the bond that ties your souls. Somewhere far off, a satellite blinks, a comet passes, The universe hums quietly to itself, as if singing both lullaby and question. And as you rest your head on your twin's shoulder, you wonder if time can stretch, can it loop? Could it ever fold so tightly that you meet yourself again, not just in memory but in motion? You are lying back in your seat, wrapped in quiet. The hum of your starship is steady and low, like the breath of a sleeping giant. Around you, the universe blurs, starlight stretches into soft, trembling threads. Your ship is chasing a beam of light, not just quickly, not just fast, but nearly as fast as light itself. You float here just under the edge of physics, pressed into a cradle of human engineering. You are still, and yet outside, the universe races by like a silent current. Stars, once sharp and still, now smear into streaks, blue ahead and red behind, Doppler shifted by your motion. In this vessel, time does something strange. It begins to yawn. Outside the ship, clocks tick steadily, Earth rotates, seasons change, and cities breathe in light and exhale it in millions of tiny lives. But here, aboard this swift-moving heaven, time thickens. It softens like slow honey. It folds in on itself. You reach for your tea, still steaming, still warm, and take a sip. The cup feels familiar, but in a sense, this simple action is not the same as it would be on Earth. From the perspective of someone watching from afar, that sip happens in slow motion. A blink on Earth stretches into a full breath here. A moment out there becomes a minute in here. This is time dilation. At nearly light speed, time bends around you like a current around a stone. You are embedded in the river of relativity. To you, everything feels normal. Your thoughts are crisp, your body calm. You eat when you're hungry. You sleep when you're tired. You write a message to a friend on Earth, telling them about the stars, and send it through the silence. But by the time they read it, years may have passed. For you, only days. You are moving so fast that the rules of time begin to change. Einstein once said that time is not absolute, that it stretches and bends, depending on your motion and the space you travel through. He was right, and now you're living that truth. Outside, planets whirl in their orbits. Suns rise and fall, unseen. Civilizations continue, babies are born. Languages evolve, empires rise and crumble. All while you drift between stars, in a vessel where time slows just enough to make the universe a little less urgent. In the quiet of the ship, you walk to the observation dome. The stars ahead are crowded, blue and brilliant, pulled forward by your speed. Behind you they are sparse and red, trailing in your wake like old memories. You sit, watching the light fold and shimmer. Meals here are simpler. The days are longer, even though clocks tell you otherwise. Your appetite adjusts. You might eat once, twice, not out of necessity, but because it feels like time to do so. Sleep becomes a meditation not dictated by the sun but by your own rhythm. Sometimes when you sleep you dream of Earth. But in your dream, Earth has aged. The buildings look older. The people you knew are different, or gone. Children have become adults. Forests have grown. Oceans have warmed. And when you wake, you carry a soft ache in your chest, the ache of moving too fast through a world that cannot follow. You remember birthdays you'll miss. Books that will be written after you're gone. The rustle of wind through trees that have not yet grown. All of it waiting far behind, or far ahead. But still you move forward. Each second on the ship is an echo of something else. A heartbeat that doesn't match the drumbeat of Earth. But here, inside, your body ages slowly. Your cells divide at their usual pace, but time, that great storyteller, has paused her tale. And yet you wonder, if time slows for you, what does that mean for memory? Would you remember more, or less? Would your experiences stretch out so long that every moment becomes vivid, permanent? Or would you feel detached from the world that keeps rushing forward without you? You write again, a journal entry just for yourself, a small record of thoughts. Day 120, aboard the light runner. I can no longer tell if time is a friend or a trick. Everything is beautiful, but I miss the feeling of standing still while the world turns. There's no sunset here, not like Earth's. The light changes, but it's not bound by atmosphere. Your window reveals endless stars, new constellations drawn by your movement. You invent names for them. The spiral ember, the sleeping whale, the silver breath. You whisper these names into the ship's quiet, letting them become part of your own private mythology. The navigation panel glows gently. You run your hand along the smooth console. Your destination is still light years away, but each hour brings it closer. What will await you when you arrive? Will the people you knew still be alive? Will they recognize your face, unchanged while theirs have aged? And yet, despite all this, you are not lonely. Because the ship is a kind of meditation chamber. Every hum is a mantra. Every flicker of light, a small awakening. You are not escaping the world, only moving through it differently. Like a pebble tossed into the stream of time, skipping along the surface instead of sinking into its depths. And one day, if or when you return to Earth, you will step off the ship and into a future you do not recognize. You will feel both ancient and new. You will carry a history no one else lived, and time, that faithful river, will welcome you back with open arms, even if it no longer remembers your name. For now you drift, not sleeping, not quite awake, just chasing the beam, and somewhere in the quiet, a thought stirs: if time can slow near the speed of light, could it ever stop entirely? You lie still beneath the stars, your thoughts adrift on a quiet current of wonder. Above you, the night stretches like a canvas of questions, and time, that steady metronome of existence, begins to feel less certain. It slows, then stretches, then turns in upon itself, like smoke curling from a candle flame. Tonight, you'll follow the weight of the universe. You'll feel how gravity, silent and invisible, can shape the tempo of time itself. Imagine standing near a great mountain taller than anything you've ever seen. Its weight presses into the earth, sinking it ever so slightly, not just into soil but into space and time itself. This is the nature of gravity, not a force pulling things down but a bending, a warping of the stage on which everything moves. And time, obedient and tender, follows the curve. In Einstein's vision of the universe, space and time are not separate. They are threads of a single fabric, space-time. Mass, anything with weight, from a stone to a planet, to your own body, distorts this fabric. Imagine a trampoline with a bowling ball resting in the center. Now roll a marble nearby. It circles, caught not by some invisible string, but by the dip the ball makes in the trampoline's surface. This is how Earth holds the moon, how the sun holds us, and how black holes, those dense collapsed stars, hold even light in their grasp. But gravity doesn't only shape space, it stretches time. Close your eyes. Imagine you are orbiting a black hole just outside the edge, where no light escapes the event horizon. Here time begins to slow, not because you're moving fast, but because gravity's grip is so strong. If a friend were watching from far away, they'd see you move in slow motion, each blink a minute, each breath a lifetime. For you, time feels normal, your heart still beats in rhythm. But to the outside world, you are drifting into molasses. Even here on Earth, this slowing happens just much more subtly. High up on a mountain, time ticks slightly faster than it does at sea level. Astronauts living on the International Space Station age a little slower than people on Earth's surface. It's measurable. GPS satellites must correct for it constantly, or your map would lead you astray. The deeper you are in a gravity well, that is, the closer you are to something massive, the slower time flows. But what does it feel like? Let yourself fall, not in fear but in surrender. A gentle drift downward, as if through a warm invisible syrup. Your limbs move easily, but the world around you slows. The stars above hold still, the air thickens with pause. This is not resistance, but deep calm, the kind gravity asks of time. You pass near a neutron star, a collapsed sun, packed into the size of a city. It spins fast, like a heartbeat in a rush, but its gravity is vast. Time bends here more deeply than near any mountain or moon. As you drift closer, your seconds grow long. stretching like taffy. You're watching a moment last forever, not because the clock is broken, but because gravity has softened time's beat into something slower, deeper, and more deliberate. Einstein called this phenomenon gravitational time dilation. The term may sound clinical, but the experience is strangely poetic. Imagine if sorrow could linger longer in deep gravity, or joy unfold more slowly near a massive star. In a place where time slows, perhaps thoughts linger longer, conversations take root more deeply, and memories crystallize in sharper relief. Heavy places are not only dense in mass, they feel dense in meaning. You're drifting now near the edge of a black hole, just outside its shadowy reach. The light around you arcs in strange directions, bending around the curve of invisible gravity. You feel time stretch again, more this time as though the moment were too full to pass quickly. There's no sound here, no wind, no up or down. Just the slow turning of space and time, kneaded by the weight of something ancient. You think of clocks, of the way we measure time on Earth in seconds and minutes, hours and days. But here none of those markers matter. Time is elastic, woven into the gravity that surrounds it. And the deeper the well, the longer each second lasts. Your heartbeat slows to match. This isn't science fiction, it's the world you live in just seen through the eyes of patient curiosity. Every mass bends time, and every step you take across a valley or mountain subtly shifts your relationship with the clock. You are not just walking through space, you are floating through a fluid of stretched and squeezed time. A thought comes to you now: if gravity can stretch time, could there be places where time hardly moves at all? Could a moment last 1,000 years in the right gravitational embrace? And what would it feel like to stand there, to exist in a breath that never ends? The black hole before you answers in silence. Its event horizon is a line that cannot be crossed back. If you were to fall through, your time would stop entirely, at least from the perspective of the outside universe. You would fall forever in your own clock, experiencing time as usual, even as the rest of the universe rushes forward without you. But you don't fall in, not tonight. You remain poised near the edge, a gentle witness to the way gravity holds time in its arms like a child rocked to sleep. The stars shimmer overhead. Their light, ancient, curved, delayed reaches you not in real time, but in gravity-warped whispers. You realize that you are always living in the past, seeing things not as they are, but as they were, their light having traveled across bent time to meet you now. You open your eyes again to Earth's sky, to the quiet darkness of your own bed, and feel the pull of gravity not just on your body, but on your experience of time itself. You are not separate from this rhythm. You are a ripple in the fabric, a beat in the slow, beautiful drum of the cosmos. At first it feels like nothing has changed. The air still carries the soft, dusty scent of summer. The sky holds the same shade of blue you remember. The soil crunches under your feet with the same dry honesty. But something deep inside tells you otherwise. Something quieter than thought, but older than instinct. You glance around. The house still stands, weathered but whole. The trees lean a little more than they used to. The fence is older, worn, beneath the bark. The rings have widened. Seasons have come and gone without you, as they always do. But this time they passed like wind through a window you didn't know was open. Children run by, laughing, but their voices sound strange. One of them looks like your niece, though taller now, with a new softness around her eyes. Wasn't she 5 when you left? 6? You try to calculate, but time spills through your fingers like sand. Your journey was long in distance, but not in hours, at least not for you. You lived only days, perhaps weeks, in your body. But here on Earth, years have bloomed. Time stretched thin behind you as you raced forward, closer and closer to the speed of light. Your clock ticked slower. Your heartbeat was a stone dropped into a slower stream, and now the world has rushed ahead. You are a guest in your own story. People greet you kindly, but their faces hold shadows of years you never knew. They've mourned your absence. They've changed their routines, adjusted their calendars. They tell you tales of storms and festivals, of new presidents and silent pandemics, and you listen with a smile that feels borrowed. Every reunion is tender and strange. You sit beside your brother on the porch you once built together. His beard is grayer now, his laugh deeper, tired but warm. He hands you tea and says, "Do you remember when we were boys?" And you do. But it feels like yesterday to you, while to him, it is decades past. You blink at the passing clouds and feel something ache in your chest. Not pain exactly, something more like longing shaped into silence. There is a strange mourning in returning, not for what you missed, but for how little you felt it pass. You were wrapped in the cocoon of relativity, protected by physics, carried by speed. But Earth did not wait. It turned and tilted, rained and ripened. Life happened in your absence, rich and full and utterly unreachable. Even gravity feels different. The weight of your own limbs seems foreign, as though your body aged in ways your mind didn't. The planet pulls at you, asking you to be part of it again. But you are not sure how, and yet, slowly, you start to settle. You walk through the old forest path, where you once played as a child. The trees are taller now, and some are gone, replaced by young saplings, uncertain and green. The river hums beside you, softer in its bends, as if whispering its own memories back to you. You notice the small things dew on moss, the chirp of a bird you thought extinct, the delicate warmth of sunlight filtered through new leaves. Everything is older. Everything is new. You spend your nights watching the stars, but they seem different now, closer in meaning, more distant in time. You know what lies between them, what waits at their edges. You've seen what time can do when folded, twisted, stretched across velocity. You've danced with dilation, you've sipped the slow drip of seconds stretched like honey. And yet, here you are brushing dust from your shoulders, listening to the language of leaves. You are a time traveler, yes. But not in the way of flashing portals or spinning machines. You are a traveler of perception, a witness to how time does not pass the same for all, how it bends around speed and mass, how it slips between fingers differently, depending on where you stand, how fast you move, and now you stand still. Now you begin again. There is comfort in replanting roots, in learning new names for familiar constellations, in asking your niece about her dreams and listening as though hearing a new dialect of the world, in setting a place at the table, not just for yourself, but for all the versions of you that might have been had you stayed. The world did not pause, and yet it welcomes you back, gently, slowly. Without rush, you find meaning in small tasks: fixing a broken chair, trimming vines from an old trellis, reading the journals your friends kept while you were gone. You laugh at jokes that no longer make sense, you marvel at inventions you never imagined, and you listen with the patience of someone who has seen how much can change while you look away. You lie in bed at night and hear the tick of the clock on the wall. It sounds faster than you remember, but maybe that's just you. Your ears still tuned to a different rhythm, your breath still walking beside the stars. You are not who you were, but neither is the world, and in that quiet truth you find a strange peace. Maybe that's the gift of the journey, not the distance or the science or the headlines, but the perspective. You feel time now, not just as a number, but as a texture. You know its taste, its flow, its echo, and in knowing it, you feel more alive. Still, as you close your eyes, one thought lingers: if time can stretch and slow and loop, can it also lead us somewhere even stranger, somewhere where space itself begins to twist? Now you hold time like a soft cloth in your hands, wrinkled, stretched, folded, and strange. What once felt firm now flows like warm silk. As we close our journey, you'll reflect on how time dilation doesn't break reality. It deepens its mystery. Full chapter body, 1,200 words. You lie still, your breath rising and falling like gentle waves on the shore of thought. Around you, the fabric of time feels softer now, pliable, almost tender. It stretches between your fingers like a cloth warmed by sun and memory. You've come far, and now you sit at the edge of something vast, not an end, but a deeper seeing. Time, once a ticking ruler in your pocket, now reveals itself as a thing alive, not constant, not cruel, but endlessly shaped by motion and mass, by longing and light. You remember the spaceship racing near the speed of light, where seconds stretched and lifetimes passed unnoticed. You recall the black hole's quiet power, pulling at the clock hands like a tide. You followed light itself, and watched it chase horizons it could never catch. And now you rest here, where past and future breathe beside you, folding into one another like a paper crane. Time dilation, once a phrase wrapped in equations, has become something more intimate. It is the slowness of a goodbye. It is the fast-forward flutter of a hummingbird's wings. It is how one person can change in a blink, while another stands still inside the same moment, watching the seasons swirl. You see now that clocks are not truth, they are interpretation. They hum quietly in pockets, on walls, in orbit, each keeping a rhythm that feels solid but isn't shared. Even your heart, your inner metronome, speeds up and slows down with fear, with joy, with time's invisible pull. Einstein once said that time is what a clock measures. But here, as you cradle the idea in your thoughts, you know it's also what the soul feels. The ache of nostalgia, the sharp inhale of awe, the strange way a moment stretches when you're in love or in danger. That too is dilation, not of space-time perhaps, but of the experience within it. Imagine again that twin astronaut, aging slowly among the stars. Their sibling left behind grows old on Earth, a wrinkle added for every day the other remains young. To them this is not just science, it's heartbreak, it's reunion. It's the strange reunion of two timelines that no longer sync. And yet neither has broken reality, each has simply followed a different river. Your thoughts drift now to that cloth in your hands. You fold it once, this is a moment slowed by gravity. You stretch it a moment dragged by velocity. You wrinkle it gently, this is space-time distorted by mass. And yet through all of this, the cloth remains whole. It does not tear. It holds. And so too does your understanding, not in hard lines or perfect answers but in wonder. You have walked through paradox and poetry, through equations made of stars and stories. You have seen how time can bend without breaking, how it can be stretched like taffy and still return to itself. And more than anything, you have learned this, that your place in the universe is not fixed, it dances. Every breath you take is a dialogue with time. Each heartbeat answers a question you didn't know you were asking. And each dream, even the ones you don't remember, carries you across unseen timelines, where thoughts move at the speed of light and time no longer obeys its rules. Tonight, as you settle deeper into your rest, you may find yourself floating between moments, not rushing toward tomorrow, but swaying softly between seconds. You might feel a quiet sense of weightlessness, as though the hours themselves have loosened their grip. That is time dilation too, not measured by machines, but felt in your being. And as you drift farther into sleep, the cloth in your hands becomes thinner, a veil more than a fabric. You no longer try to hold it, you let it go. It flutters like a leaf on a cosmic wind, and you drift with it. Not lost, not anchored, but suspended between knowing and wondering, between motion and stillness, between what was and what might be. You close your eyes and time folds again, gently, neatly, into a new shape. A pocket of stillness, waiting to open. And somewhere just beyond the horizon of thought, a new question rises like a tide, soft, steady, waiting. If time can bend, can it also return?